Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. Glad everybody could be with me on this good Monday. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to me on Apple, SoundCloud, Spotify, and on YouTube. I'm on Instagram at I'm Not Repeating Myself Pod, and I'm also on TikTok at I'm Not Repeating Myself Pod. Glad everybody could be with me on this good Monday again. Hope everybody's staying warm. I got hit with a little snowstorm, winter storm here, and Mother Nature beat my ass because I underestimated. I didn't think it was going to snow. I stay in Charleston, South Carolina, so I didn't think I was going to get hit with any snow at all. And when it started coming down, I'm like, oh, this shit ain't going to stick. And I woke up this morning, went to go take a shower, and this is why, I everybody knows I record on Sunday, so my start time got pushed back because my fucking pipes was frozen. I got a tankless water heater, so basically I can run hot water all day throughout the whole house if I wanted to. Went to go turn that shit on, cold water running, hot water. Go outside, pipes frozen. Had to go get the blow dry. I was out there for at least an hour and some fucking change. And that feel like temperature was at least 15, 17. So that shit is never happening again. And usually I'm good with shit like that. Usually I'll drip the faucets and shit like that. But I thought that shit was pump faking. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought that shit was pump faking. I thought it wasn't gonna be real, but I was taught a valuable lesson this morning. So Mother Nature 1, Mike 0. Well, all in all, I'm glad I could be with y'all, man. So we can go ahead and jump right into this shit, man, because we definitely got some shit to talk about today. Starting off, J. Cole. J. Cole dropped his mixtape. Of course, I spoke about it last week. Jadakiss hinted on his show that J. Cole had, basically rapped over some classic beats. And that he did, man. J. Cole dropped 4 tracks. And let me go ahead and start out by saying this. J. Cole, you scammed me like a motherfucker, bro. You scammed me. J. Cole, he had a dope rollout for the mixtape. He had it on his website. He had a little link that, you can pay whatever you want to pay, but the minimum was $1. So I said, all right, I'll throw J. Cole $5. Throw in the $5. He sent me my receipt immediately. I don't get no tracks. I'm trying to get information. They telling me the site is going through some issues right now. I'll be right back. Man, shout out my dog. He sent me the tracks on Twitter. I was able to hear them. But yeah, J. Cole scammed me, man. J. Cole scammed me, bro. I did not get those tracks. Till this day, I still haven't gotten those tracks. But I got the receipt, though. But it's all good, though. It's all good. So just starting off, just talking about the tracks, of course, my favorite, of course, was Money, Power, Respect. When I spoke about it last week and when it was, speculation of him dropping it. And, those were one of the tracks that, they said that he was rapping over. And Money, Power, Respect was definitely my favorite that J. Cole did on here, man. That shit was fire. J. Cole was getting busy on there. And shout out to DJ Clue, man. DJ Clue, he's a pillar in this rap game, especially when it comes to mixtapes. If you want to do a documentary and talking about the history of mixtapes, you can't do without DJ Clue. Back then, if you was a new rapper, you had to get on a Clue tape. That was the way you was going to get your name out there, was fucking with DJ Clue. So shout out to DJ Clue for collaborating with J. Cole, giving us that real feel back. But I really don't, overall, J. Cole got busy on this whole tape, man. J. Cole got busy. Like I said, I love the fact that he did Money, Power, Respect. Money, Power, Respect, excuse me. He did Victory, of course. He did Can I Live? And it's what was the other beat that he did? I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, but those are the most memorable for me was Money, Power, Respect, and Victory. He got busy on there. The only gripe I got with J. Cole is the big 3 line on Victory, bro. Like, it is what it is. You apologize. Again, niggas like me, hey, when it comes to the competitive bars aspect, I'm not really trying to hear all that. I'm not even trying to hear about that whole situation no more. You apologize. You rapped about it again on Port Antonio. You left it at that. So just leave it alone. I like how you try to dress it up though. Like I like the play that you try to dress it up. Try to flip it, but mm-mm. But other than that, Cole got busy. Great flow, great wordplay. It was no complaints from me at all on that front. But as far as the whole big 3 thing, could have left that alone. And it definitely gets me excited for what's to come for the fallout, which is this week. So it was great. This has been honestly a great rollout for J. Cole. I think the mixtape, it being music and it being a mixtape, man. Maybe this is something that other rappers, formulate they can take. Like as far as, if they got a project or they got an album coming out, hey, get on the mixtape tip. Now don't do it like J. Cole now in terms of, putting that shit on a link and then niggas can't hear it, man. If you're gonna do it, just drop it on YouTube or something, bro. Drop it on the YouTube page, whatever the case may be. I like the link idea. It's just that, bro, the whole payment process shit, bro, make it free. Just make it free, bro. I'm not mad at nobody trying to get money or whatever the case may be. But, bro, just make this shit free. Because niggas went through all that hassles. And again, I didn't get the fucking tracks, bro. I did not get those tracks. I'm like, oh, I know J. Cole did not scam me out of $5 for no damn mixtape, bro. Like, that shit was crazy. That shit was insane. And, like I said, the site was a dope rollout. Bro, but nah, bro. Nah, I can't. I can't get with that one, bro. I can't get with that because it was cool. It was like, all right, cool. You want at least $1? I'll give you $1, J. Cole. I give you this. So I threw him the $5. But I didn't get those tracks. I think this was a good exercise for J. Cole as well, too. I think this was a great exercise. Getting in shape, getting ready for the album to come out, and with this title being Birthday Blizzard, of course we all know most of the country has been going through this winter storm. I think he cooked this up within the last week. Now the technical titles for these tracks are Bronx Zoo Freestyle, Golden Goose, Winter Storm, and 99 Bill Freestyle. So, of course, if you listen to us, you pretty much already done heard it. Y'all can let me know what your favorite was. But I love 99 Bill Freestyle. That Money, Power, Respect beat is just, that beat is special. It's special. It's one of the best rap beats ever, in my opinion. It's one of the best posse cuts in rap history. So he did the beats justice. Like I said, I don't really have too much, complaints other than that whole Big Three shit on Victory. But shout out to J. Cole, man, restoring that feeling, and definitely shout out to him for getting with DJ Clue. Like, he easily could have did this, just solo. I'm gonna throw the tracks on. I'm gonna get whoever engineer I got. But nah, when you got that theme of DJ Clue, that definitely gives you that feel, man. Because again, he is a pillar in this rap game, especially when it comes to the mixtapes. You can't tell a story of mixtapes without DJ Clue. And to have DJ Clue on here, hearing his tag, it just definitely restored that fucking feeling, bro. That shit was fire. But I honestly think I think J. Cole needed this as well. Of course, we all know coming off the last year and a half that he's had, he needed this. He needed this not only for himself, but it's for his fans too, to let them know, like, hey, bro, like, I'm still here. I can still get busy. I'm going to still get in the booth. And, of course, some of the best rapping from J. Cole has been on his mixtapes. I said before, his mixtape discography goes without saying. There's not really no flaws in there. But when J. Cole get to rapping on somebody else shit, he raps with a different type of hunger. He raps with a different type of bravado, a different type of, just I'm here type feel to it. And that's why I love that he got on here and he gave us these 4 freestyles. And especially that he got with DJ Clue. And I think this is something that a lot of rappers should be able to do throughout their tenure in their career. Like, go ahead and rap on somebody else shit, man. Like, restore that feeling. Because I'm pretty sure when you first came up, at least if you really a true rapper at heart, you done got in the studio a couple of times and done rapped over somebody else shit just to see what type of shape you was in. For sure. Rather you be new or older rapper. Like, you done that. And again, I think this is a great rollout for J. Cole because, he could have took the other route and just sat down with people, did interviews, whatever the case may be. And that's great too. But the fact that he's stuck with the foundation of this shit, which is music, that's what I love the most about this shit, man. So shout out to J. Cole. Again, I love the 99 Bill freestyle. That's my favorite. That Money, Power, Respect. But he got busy on all of them. Golden Goose was fire on that too. But I really love the fact that he really took it back, man. Like, and J. Cole, he came up in the blog era. A lot, we all know that 2000, I'll probably say 2006 up until about 2010, that was like the peak of the blog era when everybody was just dropping mixtapes. I personally say That 2012 year alone was probably the best year in the 2010s for rap. Like, so many classic mixtapes came out in that time. But of course, leading up to it, when everybody, was coming out around that time, that 08, 09 window, this is what you was doing. You was dropping mixtapes, man. So this shit, I'm definitely gonna replay it again. Again, Cole, you scam me, but it's all love, brother. It's all love. I didn't get those tracks, but you got my $5, and it's cool though. It's cool. It's cool. But shout out to J. Cole, man. I'm just ready for this album. Of course, he dropped the artwork. He dropped the artwork for the album. It's just him standing in front of this look like this red type of wall or something like that. But I'm ready for it. Of course, when we first heard the first single off, was Diss 2 Track 2. It might have official title, but he didn't give us a title for it when it came out. And the video, of course, was amazing. But man, shout out to Cole, man. I'm ready. I'm anticipating some great work. Man. I'm definitely anticipating some great work. And that album will be coming out on February 6th, the fall off. And no, I still don't believe this will be J. Cole's last album. I still think he'll be here to deliver wherever 2-3 years, shit, maybe even a year from now. You can't believe these niggas when they say they're gonna retire. Anytime a rapper say they're gonna retire, they're not retiring. You gotta really see these niggas just go away for real. That's the only way you'll know these niggas going like, all right, like this nigga's officially gone. He ain't dropped some shit in about 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever the case may be. When Hov said he was retiring, he didn't retire. He came back in about 2 years. 2-3 years. Kingdom Come came in like 06. He was still rapping on features in between 04 and 05. So he never left the game. Now, Jay might be officially retired. I mean, we haven't had a guest verse from him probably in about 3-4 years, maybe. His last album was 2017. So I don't know. It remains to be seen. But again, shout out to J. Cole. Shout out to DJ Clue, man. Y'all definitely delivered on this tape, man. Y'all definitely got busy. So next up, The Game and DJ Drama dropped Every Movie Needs a Trailer Deluxe version. And the original dropped, I want to say, when did that come out? Every Movie Needs a Trailer dropped December 5th. So that was shit, barely a month ago. But they came back with a deluxe version. And all I got to say is, and it actually has a title. So Every Movie Needs a Trailer, the credits. This one is 12 tracks. And man, I like this better than Every Movie Needs a Trailer. Like, there's literally no skips on the credits. There's literally no skips. Again, it's 12 tracks. I love whatever. Straight out the gates. Real Niggas with 21 Savage. You got Secondhand Smoke. That might be my favorite. Art Basel, Stephon Digger Out. Favorite Tricks, Brick by Brick with Benny the Butcher and Conway. Killed that shit. Use a Virgin with Lil Boosie. He's actually kind of rapping like Boosie on that shit. That shit was hilarious, but it was dope. Something in the Water, Dead Hermes, and It Feels Like Heaven. Hey, man, shout out to this deluxe, man. Every time Game drops, he reminds niggas as why he always, crown himself as the best from the West. I personally feel like he's the best rapper from the West Coast. And him and DJ Drama just got a chemistry on this project in particular that's crazy. And shout out to Mikey Keys too. But man, the Game got busy on this deluxe. He actually was better on this side. Like, if I had to pick a disc I'm listening to this side of it, because this shit was crazy. Out the gates with Whatever, amazing. Real Niggas with 21, fire. But that Secondhand Smoke might be my favorite track on this deluxe, man. So shout out the Game, man, continuing to, rap and, just ultimately do what he love. Every time Game drops, man, still to this day, 21 years in the game, not a whack project. Not one whack project, man. And I hope him and DJ Drama do some more work, because they ain't missing. That's Every Movie Needs a Trailer, the credits. Definitely check that out, man, because yeah, he came with a 12 pack and he wasn't missing. He was not missing. You definitely going to like these tracks. Again, Real Niggas, Secondhand Smoke, Tricks, and Brick by Brick. Those would be my standouts on this side. Those would definitely be my standouts. All the features hit. Nothing seen forced. Everybody fit. Again, I love Benny the Butcher and Conway on Brick by Brick. They both got busy on there. 21 Savage on Real Niggas definitely fit on there. So yeah, man, salute to the game, man. Salute to the game, man. Continue. I hope he continues to rap as more time goes on, man, because he just stays in shape. He stays in shape. He's never sounded, out of place anytime he drops. But we all know Game is a nigga who he'll give you 400 bars rapping. He'll give you 300 bars rapping. That nigga just loves to rap. I could tell that nigga truly was born to be a rapper. And you don't come in the game in 2005 and, 21 years later, you still sound in shape like this, man. So salute to that nigga, man. That's rare. That's rare. Definitely salute to them. Now, I wanted to speak about this project last week, but I forgot about it. And this nigga is one of the most underrated rappers in the game, man. I want to shout out IDK. IDK dropped a project called ETDS, a mixtape. And this shit is fire. And one thing I want to say about this nigga, because I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. IDK has some of the best transitions on his projects. It's not one project I have not listened to, and this nigga don't got a flawless transition between tracks. He puts a lot of emphasis on his transitions because when you listen to his projects, it sounds just like this big run-on song, but with just different moments. And the shit flows so perfectly. Every time I listen to an album by IDK, this nigga delivers on the transitions between the tracks. And I think that's an ability that a lot of rappers don't really pay attention to. And that they should pay attention to. Like the transitions between your tracks, when you look down, it's like, oh, damn, I didn't even know I was on the next track. Like, that's very underrated talent and ear that he has for that, man, because that shit is very dope. My favorite track on here is Devil. Off rip, I had seen the video for it prior to the album came out. That shit was fire. It's 15 tracks, 40 minutes long. And yeah, man, my standouts on here is Devil, Stigma, Flocka, and Life for a Life with Pusha T went crazy. Him and Pusha T went crazy on Life for a Life. Shout out to that. That by far is the best track on there, in my opinion, next to Devil. Like, if I had to do a pick, it would definitely be between those two. But Pusha T and IDK went crazy on that track, bro. Went crazy on that track. Shout out to Conductor. He was a consistent producer on this album as well. He got a feature with Black Thought on here. They went crazy. Joey Valence and Bray on Clover. Also got shout out to RIP. Shout out and RP to DMX. He's on here as well. But yeah, man, shout out to IDK. Shout out to IDK, man. This project is dope. Again, that's called ETDS, a mixtape. This shit is fire. And again, this nigga transitions flawless. This nigga transition game is fucking flawless, bruh. Flawless. And shout out, I didn't even know how a IDK and Pusha T record would sound, but they mesh. They mesh perfectly together. That's definitely the standout track on this album. Life for a Life, you get a chance, check that out. And check out Devil, too. Those are my standouts. And he also got a music video for Devil as well. But shout out to IDK, man. I forgot to speak about that shit last week, but I want to give Dog his proper due and proper respect. Don Toliver also dropped the album, too. I didn't get a chance to finish listening to that, so I don't want to get on here and half step and not give his proper review on that project as well. But I fuck with Don Toliver. It took me a while to grow on him, but I definitely fuck with Don. Don got some dope shit, but I definitely want to check that out. So I probably will be reviewing that. I'll probably review that next episode because I definitely want to listen to that, give it a true ear. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody who dropped this week, man. It definitely was a dope week for music. And I think 2026 is just gonna be fire, man. It's gonna be fire. I think we're gonna have some more veteran rappers drop this year. Some new niggas drop this year. But I'm anticipating the veteran rappers to still, carry on that momentum going into 2026, man. I'm definitely anticipating that. Another conversation that came up this week was, of course, Lloyd Banks versus, Fabolous. Lloyd Banks and Fabolous is probably one of the most even match battles. Even match battles. I spoke about previous ones on here. But Lloyd Banks and Fabolous, if you wanted to match up two rappers and hey, who's better? They fit that. They fit that. There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong. Me personally, I think Fab raps better. I think he makes better albums. The whole nine. If I had to pick, I'm gonna go Fab. That does not mean Lloyd Banks can't rap with him. That doesn't mean that Lloyd Banks probably wouldn't get the best of Fabolous on the track. But if I had to put money on somebody coming out victorious between them two, I'm going with Fabolous. Especially after his last outing. Now, Lloyd Banks, of course, he still raps. He's put out a couple of projects over the last couple of years. But I just think Fabolous, he's the better wordsmith. You know, he got better flow. He just got better wordplay. And that's who I would roll with. That's how I would roll with. And again, there's no wrong answer. If people was to say Lloyd Banks, I'm not mad at it. Lloyd Banks, he gets busy as well. But I'm going with Fabolous on that one. I see a lot of the G Unit fan base, oh, y'all niggas being disrespectful to Lloyd Banks, bro. Every time you say somebody's better than somebody, that don't mean it's disrespect, bro. We talking about Fabolous and Lloyd Banks. It's not disrespectful to say that Fabolous raps better than Lloyd Banks, bro. It's not. Like, and that goes for anything. Like, niggas love to say that, oh, it's disrespectful. Oh, that's disrespectful. Like, bro, everything don't gotta be disrespect when in terms of comparing two niggas, especially in rap, bro. Like, now, of course, you got some outliers where it's like, all right, bro, like, why the fuck would you even put them two together in a sentence? Why would you do that? That don't even make sense. But Fabolous and Lloyd Banks, no, that's a perfectly matched battle, bro. That's perfectly matched. And I'm going to have to give the edge to Fab, bro. I think he just, throughout his career, he's been more consistent. You know, he stays sharp. You know, he's real witty too. That's what I like about Fab. Fab is real witty when it comes to his wordplay. So he's definitely gonna give you some shit that be like, he's gonna give you that, make you do that screw face. But yeah, man, that was another conversation that came up I seen on the timeline. I'm like, all right, they talking about Fabolous and Lloyd Banks. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that. I had to get that shit to Fab, man. But shout out to Banks though. I fuck with Banks. Shout out to Banks. So, moving on, we have some other news that kind of hit the bomb on the TL this weekend, you know, right before the Grammys, because, of course, the Grammys aired on Sunday. And, you know, this was kind of alarming, man. This was definitely kind of alarming, kind of, took a couple people by surprise. So, Jay-Z and Pusha T were named in the Epstein files that dropped. So, Department of Justice dropped like 3 million, files in connection with the whole Epstein case, because that has been a big thing. Everybody waiting for the Epstein list to drop, the files to drop, all that. Now I remember a few months back where they said they was gonna release them, but it's gonna be heavily redacted, meaning that there was gonna be a whole bunch of blank outs. You weren't gonna be able to see certain names, wherever the case may be. But they dropped at least like 3 million files or something like that on Friday. And Pusha T and Jay-Z's name came up. Now, to be clear, in connection and why their names were on these files, their names are listed as, they're not in direct connection with the actual Epstein case and that whole thing. They're named in basically a tip that they got from an alleged victim. So I want to go ahead and make sure I'm being proper in stating that. So, of course, this is redacted. So anytime you hear me say redacted, that's why I'm calling it out. So Redacted called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to identify herself as a victim of sex abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and others. Redacted provided the following information. In approximately 1994, Redacted revealed herself as a past victim of sexual abuse by Epstein. Redacted described the abuse occurred during parties, further identified as a friend of Redacted. In approximately 1996, Redacted resided in blank, and an unknown man abducted from her home when she later woke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers into blank. Blank believes she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. Redacted estimated she was abducted on 7 occasions, awakening each time in an opulent indoor setting. Redacted suffered from sex abuse on multiple of those occasions in which Epstein participated. Redacted recalled Leon Black and William Barr, current United States Attorney General, being present during some of the occasions of abuse. In approximately 2006, Redacted last recalled being abused by Epstein on each occasion. Redacted believes she was drugged, clouding her memory. Attributed the drugging as frequently performed by persons assigned as handlers, whom she described as persons who established friendships with the victims. Among her handlers, Redacted identified the artist Pusha T. In approximately 2007, Redacted attended a party following invitation from an unknown man who approached her as she walked down a street. Weinstein and Pusha T also attended a party and drugged her before engaging in sexual abuse. Redacted claimed to have additional information of other persons involved in the enterprise and information related to racketeering conducted in support of the trafficking. Redacted further believes she was under surveillance and stalked at the direction of the people involved in sex abuse. Redacted confirmed she was not diagnosed with any mental illness. Redacted refused to provide her physical address, advising that she maintained no permanent address. Rather, she moved between staying in different hotels. So again, you could go check this out on justice.gov. Epstein, you could go ahead and type in and search in, the names to make sure that this is accurate. But I am reading this from the actual site. So, yeah, this is. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. My apologies, y'all, because I wanted to be clear on this. Okay, yes, this is correct. So they did release 3 million documents from the Jeffrey Epstein files, along with 2,000 videos, roughly 180,000 images. That included them too. Yeah, so that was. Yeah, okay. So again, Jay-Z and Pusha T were named in these files that was given by, via a tip. Now, it doesn't mean that it had anything to do with the actual, the case with Epstein. They are not being investigated. This does not implicate them being guilty as well. This was just basically an alleged victim who called in, to give her account of allegedly what happened. And just covering it and seeing and reading what I'm reading on this, of course, you got to take this. You can't jump out the window and say, oh, yeah, this is, they're guilty, lock them up, or this, whatever the case may be. But also, it does raise the question of, why would this alleged victim, out of all the celebrities, name Pusha T? That's really the only question I really, really have. Because I see a lot of people, they, oh, this don't make sense. And, this some bullshit, whatever. Oh, this come from a tip, whatever the case may be. No, we're providing context here. So if this alleged victim is saying what happened, you can't completely just throw it out the window. Again, this is not to say that they're guilty. But why would this alleged victim specifically point out Pusha T? Now, me personally, I typed in just random 16 rappers slash celebrities just cause their names didn't come up in these files. Their names didn't come up in these files. That's the only question I really have. Why would this alleged victim specifically point out Pusha T? That's the only question I really have. And again, this is not to say that Pusha T is guilty. This is not even to say Jay is guilty. People are saying that, oh, Jay-Z in 96, he wasn't really prominent. Bro, we don't got to say, they say approximately 96, so that can mean late 90s as well. Now, Jay has, throughout his career, has had some questionable stuff on him. Foxy Brown at a young age, when he met Beyonce, whatever the case may be. So, and he's been in the game longer. You get what I'm saying? So, but Pusha T to me stands out because it's Pusha T. That's not to diminish his star status, but there's a lot of rappers we done seen come through this game. So for him to be mentioned is kind of like, that kind of made me raise an eyebrow like, that's interesting. That's interesting. And of course, with this, I don't know what more information we're to get from this. Who else names may pop up. Of course, these are the only rappers that names had come up so far. I've seen other people also try to, say Eminem name is mentioned in here. Eminem name was mentioned as somebody saying that he wasn't there with Epstein. when somebody was talking about a party or something like that, and they was asked a question about, was Eminem there, and he wasn't there with Epstein. So when you're saying that people's names are listed in these files, please make sure that you provide context. Please make sure that you provide context, because that could be nasty as well. We all know what Epstein, did. We all know what he did. So when you say, "Oh yeah, such and such name was in the Epstein files," okay, what was their connection with it? What was mentioned? Because Eminem being mentioned is not in the same context as Jay-Z and Pusha T being mentioned. That's all it is. So, because I've seen a lot of tiptoeing and picking and choosing in terms of, people wanting to cover this or how they wanted to cover this. And, hey, bro, it's nothing. If you call yourself unbiased media, all you got to do is report on it. All you got to do is report on it. You don't got to jump out the window and pick a side and say, "Oh, yeah, oh, this some bullshit. I don't got to believe it. Oh, they're guilty. Lock them up," whatever the case is. No, bro, just assess the information, form your logical viewpoint on it, and that's it. That's it. That's it. But that's really the only question I have really in terms of this is, okay, if people want to say this doesn't make sense, I just want to know why that specific victim would point out Pusha T out of all the entertainers and rappers we done had in this game. That's all I really want to know. And this has nothing to do with Pusha T as an artist, as a rapper. I still listen to Jay-Z and Pusha T are top of my Apple replay list consistently on a month-to-month basis. Consistently on a month-to-month basis. And again, this tip doesn't mean that they were investigated or does imply that they're guilty. I want to be clear on that. But what's being alleged is alarming. It is alarming. And I just want to know, like, yeah, out of everybody, she named you specifically. That kind of raises an eyebrow. That definitely raises an eyebrow as far as Jay-Z again, because we all know that he had a lawsuit against him last year, got dismissed when they didn't want to continue on with it as well. That got dropped. His name was cleared in that. But again, Jay-Z throughout his career, he's been in the game longer than Pusha T. But he kind of like I said earlier, he does have some questionable stuff on him in terms of his dealings with certain women in the rap game. Of course with Aaliyah, with Foxy Brown, and all that stuff. So I'm just saying, it definitely raises an eyebrow, and I just know had this been other rappers, this would have been received differently. Because we all know a lot of the times people don't care about the act. They care about who's doing it. So depending on whose name would have been attached to this, there would have been a whole bunch of, "Oh no, that motherfucker guilty, off rip. Ain't no questions asked. This motherfucker guilty. Nah, he did that shit." We know that. We don't got to play around and do all this other shit. But for everybody, and again, like I said, I personally inserted about 16 names just to see. They names didn't pop up. So that's the only question I got. Because, no, I don't think they're guilty. But on the other hand, too, it's kind of like, all right, like that's alarming. That's alarming. Now, people want to say it's bullshit. That's your opinion. That's your view on it. But this Epstein case is different. This is not no one-off situation where somebody, just decided to do, a civil lawsuit. No, your name is mentioned in these files. So it's different. This carries different. This is a different type of situation. I'm seeing some niggas, they even disgusted that Jay-Z and Pusha T is listed in there. Hey, bro, I like their music too. But like I always say, I don't know nobody. I say this all the time. You can't get married to these entertainers and athletes outside their art form. It's okay to like the music. I love the music. Again, Jay-Z and Pusha T, they're at the top of my Apple replay monthly. You don't got to jump out and say that they're guilty. Like, this doesn't implicate them. They wasn't investigated. This is just a tip from an alleged victim and what she's saying happened to her. That's it. And then you form your own opinion on it. But I'm asking fair questions here. Out of all the rappers that this alleged victim could have named, Pusha T, that's kind of like, okay, that's random as hell. That raises an eyebrow. But you don't got to get all defensive based off of accusations. Niggas getting real defensive off accusations, but I know for a fact that these was some other rappers, somebody you don't like, they would have been fucking guilty off rip. And that's not how you're supposed to carry this shit. Call it right down the middle. Call it what it is. And then form your own logical viewpoint on it. And that's all it is. So I'm interested to see if any other, rappers and entertainers might get named in this. I did see something from the New York Giants now. Steve Tisch, he actually has emails. So these are actual emails that are connected with him. And that shit was crazy. I was looking at that like, yeah, dog, like, I'm interested to see what else comes from that. But just in terms of, any rappers or anybody in the culture that might be mentioned, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. And another thing too, because people have been begging. I haven't really been too involved in the Epstein case probably since he killed himself. But the constant conversation surrounding this has been people wanting the files to drop. People want the files to drop. People want the files to drop so they can see who's involved. Then the shit drop. You see somebody you don't like. Now all of a sudden, you want to play hopscotch. You can't have it both ways. Because again, you don't know these people. You do not know these people, bruh. You do not know these people. You can continue to listen to the music. I still listen to people music who's locked up for doing foul shit. I separate the artist from the person. And you should be doing the same shit too. It's okay to like the music, bro, but you don't know these people. You can't put nothing past nobody. Cause as soon as you start getting it past the point where you start getting attached because you like the music so much, that's a problem. Because now you're gonna have to stand behind them for everything that comes up. And you don't want to have to do that because you don't know what people are doing behind closed doors. You don't know. You just don't know. So this definitely was alarming. Again, this came from a tip from an alleged victim. Again, Jay-Z and Pusha T were not investigated. They weren't part of the actual case in itself involving Epstein. It was just this alleged victim giving her account. But, hey, man. It's questionable. It's questionable. That's all I'm going to leave with. It's questionable. And you niggas better stop claiming that you unbiased and you not biased. You niggas are acting like PR. Acting like PR out here for these motherfuckers, bro. This shit is crazy. Y'all motherfuckers acting like PR out here, man. Motherfuckers making calls, doing all type of shit, all because they like the music or they may be compromised. I don't know. I say this shit all the time. I fuck with y'all niggas. In y'all art form, though. Everybody know. That's my GOAT right here in rap. But I don't know Wayne. I don't know what he doing his day-to-day. That's not to say that he be on some way. Actually, he was one of the people names that I typed in there. His name ain't pop up. His name didn't pop up. I typed in Denzel name too, just cause. His name didn't pop up. So if your name is connected to these Epstein files, again, with proper context, people have the right to side-eye that and ask fair questions. And again, lastly, I'm going to leave off with it. Why, out of all the rappers and entertainers with that victim, name Pusha T? And that's what I want to know. That's all I want to know. So that's pretty much all I got from that. It'll be interesting to see what else comes from it, because of course Jay-Z and Pusha T have not spoken out on it yet. So I'll be interested to see what else comes from that, man. So moving on to some sports shit. So of course the Super Bowl is set. We will have Seahawks versus the Patriots. I got both the championship game predictions wrong. I had the Rams winning, they didn't win. And I had the Broncos winning, they did not win. But shout out to the Patriots, man. Patriots defense was as advertised. Drake made, he struggled again, but he made the plays necessary on the last drive to pretty much seal a game so they could take the knee. But they will be moving on to the Super Bowl. Shout out to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, he had a great game versus the Rams. And, he will be moving on to the Super Bowl along, with shout out to McDonald, man. McDonald's a great coach. He's a great coach. I gotta give him his props. He went up to Seattle. He hit the ground running. He will be appearing in the Super Bowl. One of the youngest head coaches to reach the Super Bowl. And I honestly think the Patriots will come out victorious. I still don't. I just don't believe in Sam Darnold. I don't, and I'm not apologetic about it. I just believe his performance in the playoffs. He had a mediocre game versus the 49ers. He had a great game versus the Rams. Ultimately, throughout his career, I still believe him to be an average subpar quarterback. The Patriots defense is as advertised. I do believe they can force him into mistakes. And I believe if I had to put money on a quarterback who's going to protect the ball more, and with these two, they both have been. Sam Darnold has been slightly better. Drake May has been bad throughout the playoffs. He has. But I think in this setting on the Super Bowl stage, I think if I had to bet money, I'm gonna put my money on Drake May to protect the ball more than Sam Darnold. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I think they will go up there and they will win this game. I don't think it'll be high scoring. I think it'll be like low 20s. I'm thinking more so 24-21 Patriots. That's who I got coming out victorious. Drake May, he definitely has to play better because he hasn't really been that good overall. He has had some plays in games and moments. He has had good moments, but overall his play hasn't been up to par to what I believe him to be, because I believe Drake May is the best quarterback out of his class. But I do believe the Patriots will come out victorious. I have a final score like 24-21. But yeah, I'm not really jumping out the window in terms of Sam Darnold being that guy. I just don't see it. I still believe he's at best average and, pretty much subpar. That's where I'm at with it. I believe the Seattle defense is great. They have a great defense, but I do believe you can exploit them. I do believe you can exploit them. The Patriots defense throughout the playoffs so far, you haven't been able to do nothing with them. You have not been able to do nothing with them. The Rams, they was able to go up there. Shout out to Matthew Stafford. He was able to go up there and get busy. I believe if he would have got the ball last, they would have came out victorious. But it didn't end that way. It did not end that way. So, Super Bowl 60, Santa Clara, I have a final score of the Patriots winning that game 24-21. And I think it'll be a great game. Bill Belichick was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's fucking insane. Oh man, that's 6-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots as a head coach. That's fucking, yeah, I don't even know what words to put with that. How is Bill Belichick not a first ballot Hall of Famer as a head coach? Whoever did that voting this got something against Bill or something. I don't know. I don't even know how that's possible. So if Bill Belichick can't get on the first ballot, I feel sorry for some other players who have for sure Hall of Fame resume, because that don't even make no sense. That didn't make no. I saw that. I said, dog, Bill Belichick didn't get on the first ballot? That's fucking ridiculous, bro. But I want to know what's the criteria. I don't know if it's separate criteria for coaches. I don't know, but that shit was fucking sick. That was sick. I'm like, if Bill Belichick can't get in as a first timer on the ballot, what other coaches are how long is it gonna take other coaches to get in? Or other players? Like I said, I don't know if it's separate criteria for coaches and players. I don't know. But that shit was fucking nasty. That shit was nasty. I'm looking at that shit like, God damn, bro, Bill Belichick did not get in on the first ballot? That was fucking nasty. And shout out to Bill, man. Bill, Bill is currently at North Carolina. And yeah, that's wild. I'm trying to figure out if I can see anything as a reason why he fell one vote short. That's crazy. That's crazy, bruh. He fell one vote short of not getting in. That's fucking crazy. How you gonna do Bill like that, man? That's a snub of all time snubs. He is the NFL's all-time leader in Super Bowl titles and playoff wins among head coaches, and he will not be a first-time ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's controversial as fuck, bro. That's some bullshit. Mm-mm-mm. For enshrinement, Belichick needed at least 80% approval. That means at least 11 people voted against him. That's wild. It was 40 voters. He needed at least 80%, 40. That's crazy. We don't know officially who voted for and against Bill Belichick. Ah, that's crazy. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, that's wild. He fell one vote short. You got 25 yeses from, and they got the list of names on here. And then he got one implied yes vote, and then two confirmed no votes. That's fucking wild. I got to get some more information on that. But all I know is Bill Belichick should have been in on off rip, off rip. That goes without saying. That goes without saying, bro. There's no way that you do, and he's on that ballot, and you're like, oh yeah, that's should have been an automatic bid. Come on, man, stop it. Stop it, bro. That's insane. Shout out to Bill Belichick, man. Moving on. These players who are not making it at the pro level and going back to college, you niggas are full of shit. You niggas are full of shit. That is some shameful shit. For you to go get to the pro level, not make it, and be eligible to go back to college and play college ball and get NIL bread, nah, there gotta be some stipulations on this shit. There's been a few players. I've seen Amari Bailey. He was on the Hornets. He's looking to go back to college. Dwayne Wade's son, he's looking to go back to college. This nigga was at the G League level. I didn't even know he was in the G League. These niggas are finessing the system, and it's some bullshit. It was before, if you went to the NBA draft and you didn't get drafted, or you made it to the league and you got cut, there was no going back to college, bruh. And it speaks to a bigger issue with how you're raising up the youth. That at every step of the way, you can finesse your way out of something. That's not how life works. And it's setting a bad precedent. So I hope they nip this in the bud, because you should not be able to get to the pro level or get to the G League, get cut, and then get your ass back to college. You taking a spot from an upcomer. That's literally what you're doing. You in the way. You're taking a spot from an upcomer. Somebody who earned his spot on the college basketball team. So now that you done left college, into the draft, didn't pan out, now you get to come back and take a roster spot from somebody who probably is going to be better than you? Nah, that's whack. I don't like that shit. That shit corny. That shit is weak. And they need to put some stipulations on that shit, bro, because I ain't fucking with that. That shit is lame. That shit is weak. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, man. That shit is whack. I wanted to definitely speak on that because these niggas really finessing the system, bro. These niggas are really finessing the system. That shit is whack. Shit is whack. Some NBA news. We had a trade. We had a trade that happened between the Kings and the Hawks. No, was it the Cavaliers. DeAndre Hunter got traded for Dennis Schroeder. That ain't shit. Everybody's waiting on the big boom, of course, with Giannis. Where Giannis gonna go at? And now all of a sudden now he's open to a trade, which he been wanted. Because he was never signing the extension. He was never signing the extension anyway. So all this got dragged out for nothing. He's currently out with a calf injury. They say he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. If I'm the Bucks, I'll wait till the summer to trade him because you could get a better trade. And I think the teams traded for him could get a better trade. I think both parties can get, equal value in this trade. But if you do it right now, I wouldn't even play him. I wouldn't play him until April because Giannis, of course, he's still in his prime. He's putting up prime numbers when he's on the floor. But I wouldn't rush to trade for him right now. I wait till the summer. But now all of a sudden that he want to trade because he's dressing it up and putting it off on the Bucks because, of course, he was saying, oh, I never asked for a trade. I never asked for a trade and all this other shit. So you want to protect your fake loyalty image. It's okay to ask for the trade, bro. You already delivered the Bucks their only championship in 50 years. You really don't have nothing else to give them niggas. You tried to do the shit with Dame and didn't work out. If you want to move on, dog, be a man, get out there and say it. Because all this other shit is just looking weak as fuck. It's looking weak as fuck. I'm just calling a spade a spade. And I spoke on this shit last year around September, August, July, wherever that was. Bro, just ask for the trade, my nigga. So now everybody's waiting on the destination where he's gonna land at. Honestly, I don't know where he could end up. He could end up in Golden State. He could end up in New York. I think New York will end up gutting their team though because they're so desperate. But I don't know. It remains to be seen. Miami's in play. You have the Timberwolves. They're in play. I think Giannis and Curry will be a good pairing. I still think I think Anthony Edwards and Giannis would be a good pairing as well. Brunson, it just depends on how much are the New York Knicks willing to keep in order for that to flourish as well. Because you don't want to get into a situation where you're gutting your roster neither. You don't want, but you also want to get fair compensation for Giannis as well. So, I mean, the Bucks, they control the cards. They get to dictate whatever they get in return for him. But I'm ready for that whole shit to be over because it's been drawn out long enough. He didn't want to be there at the start of this season anyway. So I'll be glad when that shit get wrapped up, man. So we'll just have to remain. I think this is going to be a weak trade deadline anyway. I don't think it's going to be too much ruffling of the feathers in terms of that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got. Again, I want to thank y'all for tapping in with me, checking in with me. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Definitely appreciate it. Continue to run me up on YouTube. Of course, check me out on Apple, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Get your ass out here. Pursue them goals. Don't procrastinate. Get busy. Get in the gym. Get your ass in that gym. Get your lazy ass in that gym. And ultimately, please, please be safe. So like I say every week, man, this is I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. I'm your host, Mike. And I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. I'm out.